Hello, welcome to the Zurich Z Lab, an innovative way of engaging with our advisor community and discussing industry issues. One of the biggest issues we've been discussing recently is the open-ended or unlimited liability for advice in our profession, and the Fair Liability for Advice campaign, which is being run by the Association of Independent Financial Advisors, APFA, in partnership with Zurich. The Z Lab team have been touring the country to gather views, to raise awareness and also encourage support so that we have a strong, united advisor voice as we look to introduce a long stop into our profession. Here's how IFAs are feeling and what they have to say on the matter.
Well, actually today was the first I've heard of it.
Well, unless you'd prompted me, I think I would have said that I knew absolutely nothing.
I wasn't fully aware, if I'm really honest about it, Nigel, but it's something obviously that we need to be aware of.
Very little, to be honest.
I had heard about it, I'd done a bit of reading, but not that much.
Wasn't really aware of the longstop campaign.
Being absolutely truthful with you, I had very basic knowledge.
No, in truth I hadn't, no.
No, I wasn't aware of the campaign.
Well, in litigation, if you don't bring a claim in 3 years, you usually can't, so that doesn't seem to detriment the client. Solicitors, it doesn't seem to detriment the client if they go to the Law Society within that term. And I think 15 years is a long time. So I think it's more than adequate.
I don't think it would make any difference. It wouldn't stop them from placing business with IFAs.
I don't think it affects them. You know, what will be worse for clients is if there aren't advisors to go to. And I believe passionately that clients get better outcomes with advice than without advice.
I think that with having this open-ended liability almost, it must discourage a lot of younger people from coming into the industry, which is what I thought we were trying to attract.
And therefore I'm not likely to look to expand my business to take somebody else in, which is a negative really for the industry.
To be held responsible for your advice that you could have given 15 years ago, which could still be relevant today, which is frightening.
You know, I don't particularly want somebody chasing me in 40 odd years, you know, when hopefully I can relax with my grandkids or great grandkids by that point.
There is no real fairness in what we're being asked to swallow.
I'm seriously considering not continuing in the industry because of the lack of a long stop.
I mean, what other job is there that's, when you retire and finish, that you are liable for anything you did 20 years ago?
You can do a good job, you can retire, leave the industry or whatever, knowing that you've done a good job and yet still be questioned a few years later.
I mean, surely if somebody feels they've been misadvised, 15 years has got to be a long enough time for them to have reconsidered what they've done.
It needs to be done. As I say, we're moving now from an industry to being recognised as a profession. And if you compare that to solicitors and accountants, as you say, we've got a current 6-year long stop, then it makes perfect sense to do so and to kind of allude to what you mentioned before about the fact that the regulator's there to protect the consumer. Of course it is, and that's absolutely the right thing to do. And one of the drivers behind RDR is the fact that it will protect the consumer. But I think it's also important that the regulator backs up the advisor that is servicing the consumer as well. I think that's a real key point that I think the regulator should listen to and should really do something about.
So there you have a number of views from your fellow professionals. Please make sure you show your support for the Fair Liability for Advice campaign by visiting the website address on the screen. Thank you for listening and see you again soon.